Hello, hello. This is the 207th Test from the Future, an experimental podcast from the year 2225, which we are sending from our present to yours. My name is Dirk.
And my name is Simon.
And we're putting the past in podcast. So, last week I left by hoverbike.
You took hoverbike or hoverboard? What did you take in the end?
Hoverboard. Sorry, did I say bike?
Yeah.
Sorry, I took your hoverboard.
I maybe didn't hear clearly. I thought maybe you borrowed my neighbour's. But so yeah, you took my board in the end.
Yeah. So, and then I brought it back earlier this week, but made me a little, nervous. Not, but because they've been doing maintenance on and off the last couple of days, I just took my own hoverboard here today. So I've been traveling through the air a few times this week, and not so much teleporting.
Right.
I noticed the parking spaces are filling up.
Right, there's way fewer empty ones or available ones.
Yep, it's both at the top of your building as well as, it's not at the top floor of my building because it's the pyramid.
Sure,
there would be very little space there, but it's somewhere in the middle where we have our parking spaces. And it's been filling up there as well. So there's a lot of O's parked.
I was about to say, so it's not like that suddenly everyone's like, hey, actually, I want to drive around in a flying car.
No.
Rather, a whole lot of O's are landing and making use of them.
Yeah, it seems like this is a thing where everybody wants an O now. Just for our listeners, stands for object. Used to be called UFO, but we've identified them. And if they're parked, they're not flying either.
Correct. I mean, when they are flying, okay, then they're called FOs.
Yeah.
When they're parked, they're just called O's.
They're just O's, yeah. So, and especially if we're talking about parking space, or in this case, lack of parking space, because there's O's parked everywhere. I haven't seen a lot of them flying, but it seems like everybody wants an O, you know. Yeah. I think if everybody just sticks to one flying vehicle, then
would simplify it. I mean, the other option is like, so could go back to calling them UFOs so basically underwater flying object, but that doesn't really work. But underwater object, then they could be called UOs. And okay, if they're underwater, then they would no longer need to park on rooftops.
Yeah. Or they could then be underwater hover objects. UHOs. No, that sounds weird. Yeah. Okay, we'll think about what to call them and then deal with the space shortage. Anyway, that's something I've been noticing.
Yeah, right, you noticed it while flying through the sky.
Yeah. At the same time, I've been looking at the old brochures.
Oh, one's caught your eye, or?
There are some really good-looking ones. There was this bright orange one, which it was like chrome, so matte chrome. I don't know if
matte chrome, so silvery, basically.
No, it's
like chrome is like super reflective usually.
Yeah, okay. No.
Was that polished chrome, maybe?
Matte finish.
Okay.
So I'm not so much into old terminology, but it was bright orange, but not shiny.
Sure. Like a matte finish, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I mean, that much I understood. Just because you said chrome, I was imagining super shiny for a sec. Okay, so matte orange, matte finish. So, but metallic or?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. And this was just all round, super smooth, super clean, with some little touches of black everywhere. Oh man, I'm not sure how good it flies, but I would definitely like to sit in one. Yeah. Maybe that's.
You can go to a showroom.
You see, maybe they either fly really bad or they don't fly at all. I don't know. Maybe that's
like
why
advertising.
Maybe that's why they take up so much parking spaces, because they're not really good for flying.
But they're really nice to they're nice to look at and they're nice to sit in.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they're called O's anyway, because they're not actually flying; they just look good sitting in.
Right. Because I said earlier FOs, but no one calls them that, so I've never heard it anyway. So.
And of course, like if they're flying around and they don't stand on your parking space, nobody sees that they're yours.
Right. Right. And if you want to show off that you've got one,
also makes it cheaper to make them if they don't actually need to.
They don't even need to fly.
I'm going to check the brochure.
Safer too, yeah.
Yeah.
Like meaning when they don't need to fly, they're safer than the ones that do.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, exactly. And if I want to be fast, I teleport anyway.
Yeah, like when they can only literally sit there, there's like zero chance of crashes. Or at least them crashing into other things. Something could crash into them, sure, yeah, but they're not going to go around crashing into other things.
Identified crashing objects. ICOs. Okay, we'll workshop this a little bit. Talking about workshopping, we actually have have a new format again.
Right. As our listeners maybe have noticed before and just noticed then, we do speculate anyway, even about things that really, why are we speculating about them? But we like to. But how about we do that on purpose this time?
Yes.
Like at least we had the idea already to do it. What are we speculating about? How about, that's the wrong way of putting it. What if we were to do something with this time travel technology that we seem to have lucked into? What about we start a time travel agency?
Yes, that was the idea that we had. So, because at the moment, you and I can do time traveling. I think besides both of us, there's, as far as we know, only one other person that ever did some time traveling.
But that was from the past to here.
Exactly.
Like we don't know of anyone else from our time who's traveled in.
And we imagine maybe people are interested in this.
Potentially.
So far we haven't told anybody.
We haven't. I thought maybe we would get more emails.
True, actually.
Like not maybe. I expected at least a few. People saying, "Hey, I want to go to the future." Not yet, but maybe that's because we didn't explicitly tell them. So that's why we're considering. Let's make a time travel agency. We can even advertise on our own show.
And also for the people of our time, because we haven't. I mean, we've told the listeners.
Okay.
But we haven't yet told anybody here, so nobody actually knows.
Not in our present, and if we tell them, maybe they're interested in it
as well. Yeah, so we could take people from wherever to wherever.
Yeah.
So then
we've not tried going to the future yet. So for the sake of today's discussion, let's talk about traveling back into the past. We need to check. We haven't done it yet. Yeah.
No.
Let's check if we can go into the future. Then maybe we come back to that in a future episode.
So far, we've only managed to get back to actually 200 years ago to today. Right. So and also.
That's true. We can't actually adjust it.
Yeah,
but where in the world? That we can adjust. Remember, it's shifted over a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah.
You go in the present, you end up in the past.
So exactly, we figure out now how to go to a location that we want to go to, but not to a time yet. But let's just
okay. But let's, for the sake of today, let's say yes, we can travel.
Yes, we will figure out where, when we want
not
to
just
go
200 years, but to any point in the past.
Yeah, and then then we thought let's just do some live workshopping, brainstorming. Maybe we come up with a really good business model, and we can start a startup. A real time travel agency. And you said you had a good point. Like some of our potential customers are actually listening to our podcast.
Right.
Like you, the listener,
folk in the past.
You could be a potential customer.
Yep. And I just had an idea how they could pay for it. Should I say that now or maybe later?
No, let's do it now.
So check it out. Listeners in the past, you may be thinking, surely it's expensive to travel 200 years into the future. And you're right, it is. But the way you can pay for it is simply invest your money in the past. Yeah. We can give you some ideas, what to invest in. And then 200 years later, that'll be a whole lot of money. So when you come into the future, hang out with us a little. Well, you don't have to hang out with us personally here, but we'll bring you to the future. And then you can pay us with the money you invested.
Exactly. So we split 50-50.
You and I.
No, we and the listener. It's like, so the listener...
third each.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
33 for them, 66 for us.
Yeah, it's fair, because we're
doing a lot of work here.
Yeah, that's true. And there's two of us.
Yeah. But either way, we can come to some kind of arrangement there. And then we can bring people from the past, from 200 years ago, to the present. They can check it out. Really
smart investment. So they could invest 20 of whatever the currency that they have.
20 monies, yeah.
Yeah, 20 monies. And then 200 years later, that's
probably worth at least 40 monies.
Definitely. And then we split the 40 monies.
Let's say it's worth 60 because that makes it easier.
Yes.
Totally worth 60 monies. And then we each get 20.
Yes.
So they're none the worse off. They've got the same amount of money they had at the start.
They then can go back and have their 20 monies again.
We'll be loaded.
Exactly. So they haven't had any cost, and they've been doing time traveling, and we got rich because we got 40 monies.
Everyone's a winner.
Exactly. Okay, so we already have a business model, and then of course we're always part of each business model should be how do you reach your customers? We have them. Those are our listeners.
The ones in the past, yeah.
Exactly, and you can tell your friends.
Exactly.
And family.
I guess. Neighbors. Yeah, so word of mouth advertising for the most part.
Yeah. To be honest, we really don't have any other
we've got this podcast. Okay, yeah. So I see your point.
Yeah.
So we can advertise on our own podcast, but the only people who hear it are our listeners.
Yeah, fair enough. But at least we have one way of reaching potential customers. And then the
point would be to mention it every episode. If we only mention it this episode, That's not really advertised. I mean, it's a one-time thing, but people, we've got to build brand awareness. So if we talk about it every episode from now on, like, 30-second spot.
Yeah.
Some point in the episode. That way.
We need a jingle.
Jingle for it, maybe, yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Catchphrase.
Yeah.
And then maybe we do get more people emailing specifically about that.
And discount codes.
I could make it part of the outro,
Oh, yeah.
I say at the end.
Don't forget to sign up for your time travel slot, something like this. Okay, this is all we can know. This workshopping is working really well.
Mm-hmm.
So how would our trips be like? So
sure.
if we have, let's say we can go to whenever.
Yeah, so customer tells us where they want us to pick them up.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Because it's really easy for us to get anywhere in the world. Maybe it's a bit trickier for them. So they tell us where they'd like us to collect them.
Yeah.
We do that.
So it's a guided tour.
Maybe we have several packages. Like the base level would simply be, we bring them to the future. Good luck to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Listener, I can recommend not doing that, It's pretty disorienting coming to the future and not knowing what's going on. So sure. Next level is we do set you up, yeah? ID, bit of cash.
Yeah. Cyber chip.
Exactly.
Teleportation card for
credit,
a week or something like that.
Yep. And then sure, for next level would be fully guided. I mean, I'm not so much depends how many customers we get. If we only get an occasional customer, that could be about that. That could be fun.
But I mean, if it's successful and there's other people, then we can just engage some of the people that we know here.
Of course.
Yeah. Maybe Marvin, Napoleon, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we...
and at that point, maybe customers could even select who they want to guide them.
I mean, it could even be because some of the sites that we have in our time, 23rd century, like the Taj Mahal or the Burj Al Khalifa or whatever, they were already there back in the 21st century.
Yeah.
So, but of course, back in the 21st century, it was a nuisance to visit all of these big, important, exciting places.
Exactly.
Because they needed to walk or take the steamboat or air balloon or whatever.
Balloon. Yeah.
But right now we can teleport there. So they can come here and say, okay, have one future day where they do some, vegan combo, eating, dancing. Exactly. Visit some walls, go to a floating city, visit a pirate ship, stuff like this. And then do a massive, 25 sites in one day jump. Taj Mahal, Borobudur.
Wherever they like. So assuming the place still exists, wherever they like. And the place still exists and is allowed, is accessible.
And we can even take them to Atlantis.
Oh, indeed.
Because this was already there back then, but it wasn't discovered yet.
That's true. Ooh. I guess we shouldn't have people going back from Atlantis, though. Because then they'll be underwater.
Oh, yes.
So we've got to take care of that too,
Yes.
that when... I mean, the easiest way is, wherever we collect them from, presumably should be okay to take them back to.
We would be insured, right?
We should take care of that. Maybe like how the customers would invest some money to pay for it. Maybe get them to invest 40 monies. So then we have 120 monies. And from that, some of it can be used for insurance.
True. But the thing is, if something happens to somebody that doesn't actually officially exist, I'm not sure how that works.
Sure.
How can we insure somebody that doesn't
we get them ID, yeah. So once they've got ID...
Yeah, because they have existed. So, but in our time they were officially already deceased.
Sure, right. They died a long time.
So how can you insure somebody that's officially not there anymore?
Well, we need to do some time shifting,
or we get them insured in the past,
and the insurance carries over 200 years.
Yeah,
Seems
maybe there's
unlikely.
some. Yeah, because there's lifetime insurance, but if it's their lifetime has already. Yeah.
Well, no. Okay. Yeah. Is it lifetime of the company or lifetime of the person being insured? It's usually the company. Yeah. The company goes out of business. You're not insured anymore.
I mean, the thing is, if you set up some travel insurance, and you say, I want to pay 200 monies for life for 200 years of being insured, instead of 100 monies for my lifetime, the travel insurance agency company will go sure.
Yeah, okay, that's a good way of thinking of it. It's not like you're having to jump around in time. It's just I'm going to be alive for, instead of another 50 years, I'm going to be alive for another 250 years. And they go, yeah, sure you are.
Yeah.
I'll take your money. And you won't actually be alive the whole time, so it still works out for them. There's most of that time that you're not alive, but then there's that little bit at the end where you are.
Yeah, okay. It's still cheaper because you like all the time in between, nothing can possibly happen to you because you don't exist.
Works out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Insurance solved.
Yep. And I guess the only weird thing would be, I mean, okay, this is going to... So, customers, there's no way you're going to die, don't worry about it. But what if one of our customers dies in the future, but then they also died in the past? Like, if they hadn't come to the future, they would have died from old age at some point.
Yeah, but I mean, that's then not really a problem because they will have died already.
Yeah, right. So then the health insurance...
Like
the death insurance... Is it called death insurance? It's got another name. Life insurance. Exactly. That can pay out still. Just now it'll be a bit later.
Because if they die in the future before they get to die of old age back then, they will...
But you still just die the once is the point. It's not...
Yeah, okay. I see, sure,
I was just thinking, will the insurance company be like, oh, we're not paying twice? Yeah, they don't need to pay twice.
Okay. So
just the once.
And also the listeners don't have to worry, you're only going to be dying once.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Huh. So customers might want to look back and like in history, basically look up, hey, when did I actually die?
We'll just get like a one death guarantee.
No, I'm saying like they might want to know, like, because most customers, don't worry, most of you will not be dying on your visit here.
Definitely.
What it means is they could, if they wanted, look up on Wikipedia, assuming there's someone famous enough, they could look up their own date of death.
Yes.
And then plan accordingly, If they know they're only going to live another couple of weeks, okay, don't worry about the future too much. You're going to live another 50 years, maybe worry about the future a little bit. Not worry, but, like plan ahead a little.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's... I'm not sure. Like I'm just imagining myself. If I would go to the future, would I really be going to do all kinds of exciting things, or just figure out when I die?
I'd do both.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I'd do the exciting
multitasking.
I mean, you just quick look up. Yeah, like just hey, what's my time and date of death? Cool, good. Stick it in my calendar. Now let's go do some good stuff.
Man, I'm not sure if I want to know.
No, I mean you don't have to. Yeah, so, okay. Customers, listeners. Folk in the past who are considering these wonderful trips that we're talking about.
Yeah,
exactly. It's an optional bonus.
It's an add-on.
You can ignore it.
You can when you fill out the form, you can say, "Do I want to know my debt? Yes or no?"
Yeah, but just your own.
But it's
not other people's. That'd be rude.
But this only applies if you go to our time.
Yes,
because we were just saying, what are all the things that we could do when to travel to our time? But they could
go further back too, assuming we can.
Exactly,
and that would be interesting for us too, of course.
Also,
and any point in between. So to be able to go back like 50 years from now, I mean, we were around then, but hey, it's nice to revisit something. But also, sure, to go back 150, 350, 550, 1,000.
Exactly. You go to the, Middle Ages and dinosaur times. And
dinosaur sounds cool.
To the Egyptian times, or when Easter Island was founded, or when the first humans left Africa. Mm-hmm. Wow. Imagine to be there.
Yeah.
Imagine to be
there.
They
would be so short, I'm guessing. They were already short 200 years ago. Yeah, they must have been. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, go on.
No, I'm just imagining, this moment in history where the first African stepped over the Suez Canal. Probably wasn't around. Probably wasn't a canal.
I think it wasn't built yet. But either way.
Okay, it's like basically
crossed something that had never been crossed before by humans.
Exactly. It was the first African to set foot in non-African lands. Mm-hmm. This was, for like human history, pretty big deal.
Sure, and exactly. I understand why you're saying African lands, but at the time it simply would have been the first human to set outside of human lands.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. To leave human land and make more human land.
Yeah.
But I think that's a pretty historical thing. But it happened so long ago that nobody was there to take a picture.
Yeah.
Imagine to take a picture.
Indeed.
Or imagining to just passing that African and then making that first step yourself.
Yeah.
No, that wouldn't count because you would be then time traveling back, and then they would do the whole evolution thingy.
Yeah,
but it's a pretty big step in evolution.
Check this out though. What if maybe I'm putting ourselves out of business here. Go back and to when you just said, or even further back, and basically just dump into the atmosphere a whole load of cams, self-sufficient ones. Have them recording it all, and then up to every so often you need to go back to put some more maintenance and whatnot, but basically have that throughout all of human history. And then when you want to look up stuff now, you can travel back in time personally, but maybe you haven't got time for it, look it up on the CAM network.
Wow, but we're talking about
that's a lot
tens
of data.
Of thousands of years of CAM footage.
Go back further, or if you go back to the dinosaurs, you can have hundreds of millions of years.
Figure out.
So the bottleneck here is the storage capacity.
But I like the idea of putting cams everywhere. It's still it will still help a lot, because the alternative is
that's how we
travel
can
there.
Exactly, and with the cam network, we can have footage to make advertisements.
Yes.
Which, okay, we can only send audio back in time, but if we wanted to advertise in the present, people appreciate video advertisements more than audio.
Or we can still have past audio in the advertisement. Here you hear some dinosaur roar. This is not some clone dinosaur from the 23rd century. This is an original one.
A legit one from 100
real
million
deal.
years ago, yeah.
The actual dinosaurs, back when dinosaurs were still
feathery.
Yeah. Yeah, but this... I like the idea also putting cams there. We don't have to travel, because I guess
we can just send them back.
Because some of our customers might just be scientists from the 21st century,
right,
or for more time. Or, hey, we could do time travel. Cool, and then toss aside the little broomstick that they were using for brushing the sand of the bones. Never mind this. Can you please take me back to the Jurassic,
Jurassic was one of them.
Jurassic, yeah.
Cretaceous.
That's the one I was looking for. I think that's where dinosaurs were living.
I know there were different ones in different periods of history, and I don't know which ones.
Okay. One of the Ages. Yeah. Let's say Cretaceous. Then some scientists will go like, okay, never mind this bone dusting. Let's go there and check it out.
Now I understood. I was a bit confused for a second. Bone dusting? You mean like when paleontologists are going like with their little like shaving brushes?
Careful. There's something sticking out of the sand. Would this bone fit to this bone?
And they're being so gentle with the brushes because it might crumble.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the all evidence that they have. And then I would just jump back and see, okay, they do have feathers, or they do have antennas, or they are purple, or they were,
they could totally sing really cool songs.
Or they were all vegan. We were thinking these big teeth were for meat eating. No, they were for berries. All these things. Yeah, that's so good. This could be some of our customers.
What if the dinosaurs ask to come to the future? Like if we go back that far, they won't have heard this podcast yet, but they might notice us,
Yeah, but where are they going to get monies? I don't know how they're going to.
Yeah. I mean, we could tell them what to invest in, but
But
I think over 200 years that will work out okay. I think over hundreds of millions of years that might be tricky.
We have to think about our business plan. They can look cute all they want if they don't have
Maybe
any
we
money.
subsidize it. Sponsorship program, like customers who do have the cash can pay for dinosaurs to be done.
To bring it to maybe to have a dinosaur tag along.
Yeah,
have some dinosaur influencers.
And between any times. It doesn't have to just be between some point in the past and now. It can be between some point in the past and another point in the past.
We're thinking dinosaurs, but we can also just get some
other animals.
Yeah, I thought maybe some famous historic figures like Madame Curie or Cleopatra or
Catherine the Great. Just a quick visit. Yeah. Like it would be a bit mean to
Yeah, not necessarily bring them here, but just to visit them, Visit their court or their laboratory or...
Well, we've got the ore jones, so we should take some... we went back 200 years, it was a bit tricky to understand folk and whatnot. We should get some that can totally work in the past as well.
Yes.
So we can understand people and they can understand us.
Fair enough. Or just travel back to times where people were speaking English.
Exactly like we do. And...
I don't know. What language was Catherine the Great speaking? Probably not English.
Greek?
Madame Curie?
Maybe. French, maybe? I'm not actually sure where she's
Catherine the Great, I think Russian or...
okay.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it's a good point. Maybe we...
Ore jones. Portable ore jones would be a good idea.
Or like a whiteboard where we can draw things on to make sure we don't need a battery.
And, okay. So cyborg chips, they allow us to change our appearance. And it'd be real useful if we're going to a time where you need to look a certain way.
Yeah, smaller.
To prepare in advance, exactly, get much shorter. But they stop working. So we also basically, so it's part of our business. So depends what you want to do. Yeah. If you just want to go back and have a quick look, no worries. But if you want to go back and kind of blend in, then we will need portable versions of the ore jones and the cyborg chips. And that's not beyond, so it's a little bit beyond the scope of what we can do, because we can just travel in time at the moment. We're not the ones to be enhancing those technologies.
You reckon we need guidelines or safety procedures just to not mess with history? If we take people to watch historic events,
like no touching,
like the Battle of blah blah blah, or the discovery of something, or actually watching the first African set foot out of human land, and then we'll stand there to take pictures, and then they go like, "What are you guys doing here?" and then don't actually make the step.
What I reckon we should do is some experiments. Monkey around with stuff in the past. If everything works out cool, no worries. We can totally have loads of people go back. If it really messes stuff up, we should probably just send cams back.
Yeah.
Because, those can be made really tiny, can be kind of, no one would notice them, so they shouldn't affect things too badly. But I reckon it'll be fine. I reckon we can totally... People are people, yeah? They're fine. If I imagine myself, yeah? If I was suddenly... not suddenly. Someone came back from the future and said, oh, do you want to visit? I'd be like, yeah, cool. I'd go visit, have a nice time, come home again, go about my day. It's not like it would mess with me too much.
Yeah,
so I'm pretty sure that's how it would be for most people.
How about we go to the future then?
That's the next level, right? Because we've not done that so far.
But that should be harmless, right? Just, I have no idea how to do it. But
right, we can't monkey with our own past.
Exactly. Because we're already because it's our present. I mean, we can monkey it with it just how we're doing now.
Yeah.
It's like, tipping over a cup of coffee, that's monkeying with our present.
Sure.
But if we go to the future, we can't actually break anything there that's going to affect our present because it's going to.
I mean, we still shouldn't go around breaking stuff. Yeah, they probably wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it if someone came from the past and just started smashing things.
True, but it's still also going to be their present. So if we go there, tip over their coffee, that's just what happened in their present. If we go to the past, tip over a coffee, it's going to change whatever happened already.
I see what you mean, yeah.
So in the future, it's just whenever we go there, whatever happens then is the first time it's actually happening. We're not influencing something that has already happened. I think that might just be safer.
Yes, we would. I mean, we should do some scouting missions, yeah?
Yeah.
Find out what's going on, what place. Because, going backwards, we can check it out in advance, like look in history books. And we can find out how accurate those history books are.
Yeah, but you have a good point. Like, going to the past, we definitely know what's there. If we go to the future, we don't know if there's suddenly a volcano there or if Earth even exists. Imagine we go to 2 million years in the future where there's no Earth anymore. What's going to happen? Are we in space? Can we travel back?
Yeah. So, but then it's real handy that the way the time travel we've developed works is that, you automatically snap back after however long the previous episode was. So what that means is we can send cameras into the future. And if any of them come back like all melted and destroyed, okay, don't go there.
That's a good point. We send stuff first before we send ourselves. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and things that can record. Mm-hmm. And we can say, hey, this is a volcano, or this is empty space, or this is just the same boring present that we have now, just 2 million years later.
I'm totally going to find out when I'm going to die. Like, assuming we can
First thing to check.
First thing, I want to know that. So, I mean, go ahead, I don't know. Probably not going to live another 200 years, so I'll go ahead 200 years, look myself up. It'd just be convenient, to plan things like diary. Be real. Imagine that you put stuff in your diary for at some point in the future, and you die before then. It's very responsible to know when am I going to die. Okay, don't schedule things after that, unless of course it's something you don't want to do. In which case, schedule it after your death.
I can just imagine future people, right? They're there, and suddenly a traveler from the past arrives.
It'd be very short compared to them.
Probably, yeah. But I'm like, hey, we're travelers from 2 million years ago. They go like, oh, cool, let us show you all the cool things that we got since then. And you go, hold on a second. I just want to figure out when I die first. Hold that thought.
And they would be like, well, of course, who wouldn't do that first?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so, yeah. But it's just like, okay, sure, hold that thought. Just tell me how to get into your Wikipedia.
Sure.
It's like 2 million years of history,
So that would be interesting, go that far into the future. Because I was thinking, don't go, because I went, at least for that first trip, don't go too far because I want to look up my own death, and I don't imagine I'll live 2 million years. Okay, once I found out when I'm dying, cool, that's done. And it would be really cool to look, to go 2 million years into the future. Ooh, I think it was, I remember we talked about this some episodes ago. Yeah, with the backup suns, the backup stars, star catchers. Mm-hmm. The idea that the reason for that is at some point, hey, what if our current sun stops working and need a replacement? So we could actually travel so far forward that we could see what happened.
Yeah, exactly. If there is actually a second sun in our solar system to compensate for the one that's dying out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just...
We've kind of expanded. Like originally the idea was a time travel agency,
and now
basically a holiday type thing. And now it's like, oh yeah, okay, wait a minute. We didn't think of this before, but actual time travel could be pretty handy. I think it's because before we were just going back to the past, but now we're considering what would be in the future.
Yeah. But I mean, we would still be, but it's about scouting. Yeah, just go there first. And also, which is like, this is boring, 2 million years, this was boring, but 400,000 years, they have some pretty cool new sports figured out, or some really new cool food, or the people look really funny, you have to see this. And then we can just make some recommendations, because that's the thing, right? If we make time travel available to everybody, they still want to know what are the cool things.
Right, where, exactly, when to go.
It's like with like geographically traveling, you can't just go everywhere all the time. You need other people to tell you where it's nice. It's the same with times. It's not every time in history is interesting. There are some interesting moments. And that's where our agency comes in.
I just had an idea about advertising. So at the moment, we can't do this future. Basically, we have the one part of, we can travel back 200 years. And if anyone wants to bring them 200 years into the future, that's it. But what we should do is we should advertise as if we already can do all that other stuff. Because when our listeners in the past hear that, they'll send emails, and then future versions of ourselves will have that technology and be able to sort them out.
Yeah. True. Fair enough. I wanted to workship one more thing. What would the name of our agency be?
That is the most important thing. Yeah. If we're going to advertise it, it needs to have a name.
I thought time is on our side. It's too long, huh?
I mean, that could be good as a slogan. No, I don't think it's so good as a title for the business.
How about the Time Riders? The Time Riders.
I mean, this is a travel type thing for folks from the past. Yeah. So sure, riders could work.
Or Time It Right.
I mean, it doesn't grab me, I'm trying to think of something, but actually my own mind is going a bit blank here.
Or we can use some other language other than English.
Indeed.
Something
it would say, presumably it would say something related to what our business is, but I mean, like with any title, it would also matter how it sounds, like the sounds of the words.
I mean, like the German word for time is Zeit.
Yeah.
That has a real ring to it.
Yeah, and we could spell it phonetically for the English folks, so TS, I guess. TS.
Zeit.
IGH.
Yeah.
Okay, that's getting weird. TSITE, I think, would be good.
I mean, that's just. I mean, just.
Yeah.
I mean, and that has a nice ring to it, and also some sort of meaning. Zeit. Yeah. It sounds a little bit.
I mean, as a sound, I kind of like it, but it's not as a name, I think, for our business. I wish I had some ideas somehow. Yeah, my mind's really gone a blank for.
Oh, we can workshop this a bit,
or
we can ask our listeners.
Now there you go. Shall I?
Yes,
we're done. So
yeah.
Oh well, no. There's a listener question.
But because we've been going on even longer last
listener
year.
question. Yes, we'll talk. Yeah, okay, we can answer that.
So don't worry, Joseph. We'll ask you a question.
Exactly. We'll get to you next time, Joseph. So, listeners to Test from the Future, who also want to travel in time and also want to name our business for us,
yes,
please send an email to michaellazania5@gmail.com. Put the number 207 in the subject line, and, like we mentioned, tell us your ideas for what our time travel agency should be called. And, of course, let us know if you want to travel in time as well.
Yes. And now it's time to wrap up, or actually time to finish. So, thanks for listening, and see you in 200 years.
Bye-bye.